Welcome to our college briefing program. Today, we've got some exciting and important stories to share. First up, US aid cuts have put a stop to HIV vaccine research in South Africa, a huge blow to global health efforts. The $46 million funding was crucial, and now, ongoing projects face layoffs and delays, risking more HIV infections. This setback impacts not just South Africa but the entire fight against HIV worldwide. Next, we explore how AI is changing China's demographic landscape. With young women opting out of marriage due to high costs, AI might offer new ways to build families and care for the elderly. Experts suggest AI could even help increase birth rates and redefine family life, but there are still many questions about how society will adapt to these technological shifts. Finally, Hong Kong is stepping into the future of finance by embracing digital assets. The government is licensing cryptocurrency exchanges and developing regulations for stablecoins and tokenized assets, aiming to boost economic growth and compete globally. This move positions Hong Kong as a new hub for financial innovation, blending technology with traditional finance. Please continue to watch for more detailed stories and updates. The Toronto Star vividly captures the devastating impact of US aid cuts on South Africa's fight against HIV, illustrating how these abrupt financial withdrawals have halted promising vaccine trials and left thousands of researchers and healthcare workers unemployed. The article paints a poignant picture of scientific progress stalling, with South African laboratories shutting down, vital equipment remaining unused, and the lives of dedicated scientists like Nozifo Mlachwa and Professor Abdullah Ely hanging in the balance. The loss of approximately $107 million in U.S. funding threatens to reverse years of hard-won progress against HIV and tuberculosis, risking an increase in infections and a decline in healthcare quality across the continent. The narrative emphasizes that South Africa's role in global health research, especially in vaccine development and genomic surveillance, has been crucial, and the aid cuts not only cripple ongoing projects but also jeopardize future breakthroughs, leaving a somber outlook for millions relying on these vital programs. The South China Morning Post explores a thought-provoking perspective on China's demographic decline amid AI advancements, challenging conventional fears of population shrinkage. It tells the story of young individuals like Tracy Lee, who consciously choose singlehood, and highlights how AI could revolutionize traditional family and societal structures by providing emotional companionship and elderly care through robots. The article features insights from experts like Li Jianqin and Li Ting, who suggest that AI's rapid development might ultimately redefine life, death, and family, potentially making low birth rates less problematic by creating new social models. It also discusses China's aggressive push for AI-driven elderly care and fertility technologies, which could extend life expectancy and alter population dynamics. However, the piece warns of complex future challenges, including the possibility of AI accelerating population decline or transforming economic and social systems, emphasizing that these technological shifts demand forward-thinking policies to navigate an uncertain, revolutionary future. South China Morning Post reports on Hong Kong's ambitious strategy to position itself as a global leader in digital assets, transforming its financial landscape through innovative regulation and technological experimentation. The city has licensed 11 cryptocurrency exchanges and is actively developing comprehensive regulations for various digital asset categories, including stablecoins, cryptocurrencies, and central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. The government aims to leverage blockchain technology to streamline financial operations, reduce intermediaries, and enhance liquidity, particularly in less liquid assets like gold and property. By facilitating pilot programs and tokenizing government bonds, Hong Kong is not only creating a trusted, sustainable market but also positioning itself as an international hub for financial innovation, competing with the US and attracting global events like Bitcoin Asia, where prominent figures such as Eric Trump will speak. The city's legal framework, rooted in common law and an open, business-friendly environment, underpins these efforts, fostering a transition from testing to institutionalization and scaling of digital assets on a global stage. Australian Broadcasting Corporation highlights groundbreaking research on turning agricultural byproducts, such as wheat straw, oat husks, and potato pulp, into sustainable textiles, offering a promising alternative to synthetic fibers derived from non-renewable resources. Swedish scientists at Chalmers University have developed a soda pulping process that dissolves plant fibers into a pulp, which can then be spun into cotton-like fibers using eco-friendly methods, bypassing the toxic chemicals and deforestation linked to traditional rayon production. This innovation could revolutionize the textile industry by providing a renewable, environmentally friendly source of cellulose, with potential applications in Australia's agricultural regions. While European farmers are exploring these new uses for crop waste, Australian farmers like Bradley Misfud see wheat straw as a valuable resource for soil conservation rather than fiber production, reflecting regional differences. The research underscores a global search for alternative fibers, including seaweed, algae, and other plant-based materials, driven by the need to reduce environmental impact and address overproduction and waste in the fashion industry. Nikkei Asia discusses the demographic crisis in Asia's advanced economies, where fertility rates are plummeting far below replacement levels despite substantial government efforts. Japan, South Korea, and Singapore face stark challenges, with fertility rates of 1.15, 0.75, and 0.97 children per woman, respectively. Traditional policies like cash benefits and expanded child care have shown limited success, often resulting in families investing more in existing children rather than having more offspring. Experts suggest that addressing gender imbalances in domestic labor, particularly the disproportionate burden on women, and reforming educational and societal pressures are crucial. For example, encouraging men's participation in childrearing and reducing the high costs associated with private education could significantly boost fertility. The article emphasizes that policies should shift focus from mere financial incentives to investments in human capital, early childhood development, and cultural change, fostering societies where families are supported and children can thrive regardless of socioeconomic background. Ultimately, the demographic transition requires innovative, multidimensional approaches that go beyond traditional family support measures to reshape societal norms and institutional frameworks. The Yahoo US article highlights the grave concerns surrounding Florida's alligator Alcatraz, a detention center built unlawfully on sacred Miccosukee land, dangerously close to wetlands vital for endangered species like the Florida panther. The facility's construction ignored tribal sovereignty and environmental regulations, leading to hazardous conditions such as flooding during storms and contaminated ecosystems threatening the fragile Everglades. Detainees report inhumane treatment, including minimal food, maggot-infested meals, and lack of water, while allegations of corruption involving private prison contractors funneling donations to political figures further complicate accountability. Advocates call for immediate shutdown, emphasizing that the violations of law, human rights, and environmental protections demand urgent congressional investigation and action to prevent further harm. The Sydney Morning Herald details the troubling history of Joshua Brown, a childcare worker in Melbourne who was investigated twice for aggressive conduct toward children before being charged with over 70 offenses involving abuse. Despite internal warnings and suspensions, Brown resigned before investigations concluded, raising questions about oversight and child protection protocols. Authorities, including police and child welfare agencies, are scrutinizing the case, underscoring the importance of strict compliance with safety regulations in childcare settings. The incident has prompted calls for national policy harmonization and increased safety measures, such as CCTV installation, to better safeguard vulnerable children and prevent future abuse. The case exposes systemic vulnerabilities in child welfare systems and highlights the ongoing need for vigilant oversight. The Guardian reports on escalating threats from Hamas in Gaza, with experts warning of increased efforts to kidnap Israeli soldiers and civilians, including attempts to seize bodies of fallen soldiers. Following the death of IDF soldier Abraham Azoulay, Hamas's strategic shift toward guerrilla tactics and attritional warfare has transformed their capabilities, making the battlefield more complex for Israel. Analysts suggest Hamas's actions serve dual purposes, pressuring Israel for a ceasefire and psychologically demoralizing Israeli forces and civilians, while maintaining leverage for negotiations. The group's careful resource management and focus on asymmetric warfare underscore their resilience, despite ongoing Israeli military campaigns. Experts warn that Hamas's intent is not only to secure tactical gains but also to sustain a prolonged conflict, complicating efforts for peace and stability in the region. The Sydney Morning Herald vividly illustrates Australia's impending environmental crisis, where trucks, a cornerstone of the nation's economy, are also its largest polluters. As transport emissions threaten to surpass energy production by 2023, the industry faces a pivotal moment, torn between the promise of electric vehicles and hydrogen fuel. Electric trucks are already on the market, offering a viable solution for short routes, but long-haul trucking along Australia's eastern coast remains a formidable challenge due to limited infrastructure and high costs. Industry experts debate whether battery electric or hydrogen-powered trucks will ultimately lead the decarbonization effort, with some emphasizing the current readiness of electric models for immediate deployment, while others see hydrogen as essential for longer journeys. Despite the hurdles, government plans for both EV charging networks and hydrogen highways signal a strategic push to transform freight transportation, but the path forward remains complex, with infrastructure, costs, and technological development at the heart of the debate. The Toronto Star poignantly captures the human side of Toronto's housing crisis through the story of Isidoro Ventullo, a 91-year-old resident evicted from his Little Italy apartment after decades of community presence. His sudden homelessness, mitigated temporarily by a kind neighbor offering shelter, underscores the fragile safety net for vulnerable seniors. Local officials and residents rally around Ventullo, highlighting the community's deep bonds and the widespread concern about displacement and neglect. Despite efforts to find him permanent housing either in the neighborhood or through social housing programs, his ordeal reveals systemic shortcomings, such as long waiting lists and inadequate support. Friends and community members express fears that Ventullo's case is emblematic of a broader issue where aging residents are pushed out with little regard for their dignity or stability, prompting urgent calls for more comprehensive social safety measures. The Toronto Star also reports on Alberta's controversial new policies aimed at removing sexually explicit content from school libraries, igniting a heated debate over age-appropriate education and censorship. Premier Danielle Smith defends the move by emphasizing the importance of protecting young children from pornographic images, especially in light of recent discoveries of graphic novels deemed inappropriate. The government's crackdown, which targets specific books by American authors, has sparked criticism from educators and advocacy groups, who argue that the new rules politicize education and burden teachers with additional responsibilities. While the government insists that these measures are about safeguarding students, opponents contend they threaten academic freedom and could marginalize vulnerable students. As Alberta's education system grapples with balancing parental concerns and educational integrity, the controversy underscores ongoing tensions over morality, censorship, and the role of schools in shaping young minds. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports a disturbing failure within the Victorian childcare system, where authorities mishandled complaints against accused abuser Joshua Brown. Despite two substantiated reports in 2023 and 2024, which detailed non-sexual misconduct and were properly flagged to multiple agencies, the system's discretionary powers prevented a review of Brown's working with children check. This lapse allowed him to continue working at other centres across Melbourne, ultimately leading to his arrest on 70 charges, including sexual assault involving 8 children. Child advocate Hetty Johnston condemned the government for neglecting children's safety, emphasizing that those found unfit to care for children should be barred from employment. The incident has ignited calls for a comprehensive review of the childcare regulatory framework, with critics arguing that systemic failures and lack of oversight have exposed children to grave risks. The South China Morning Post highlights the inspiring resilience of Daniela Means, a Hong Kong-born athlete who transformed her life after a brutal mugging in Los Angeles in 2021. Struck with a hammer and left with severe injuries, including a shattered eye socket and nose, Means faced immense physical and mental trauma. Yet, her indomitable spirit propelled her back onto the stage, competing in powerlifting just 2 months after the assault and earning her place at the national championships. Her journey from gymnastics in Hong Kong to rugby and later to bodybuilding exemplifies her relentless pursuit of excellence, driven by a philosophy of embracing discomfort to foster growth. Means' story underscores the power of mental toughness, with her support system, including her husband, playing a crucial role in her recovery. Her victory in obtaining her professional bodybuilding card on the anniversary of her attack symbolizes her triumphant comeback and her ongoing quest to push boundaries in her athletic career. The Toronto Star reports on the Calgary Stampeders' impressive victory over the Saskatchewan Roughriders in a rescheduled CFL game marred by weather and smoke from forest fires. Despite logistical challenges, including an overnight stay in Regina and disrupted preparations, the Stampeders demonstrated resilience and skill, winning 24-10 and sharing the top spot in the West Division with a 4-1 record. Quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. was outstanding, passing for over 400 yards and leading the team's offensive surge, while rookie receiver Damien Alford made a remarkable debut with an 81-yard touchdown. Saskatchewan struggled offensively, with turnovers and missed opportunities, despite a late rally that saw their rookie receiver Joe Robustelli excel with 191 yards. The game showcased Calgary's offensive firepower and defensive resilience, setting the stage for upcoming matchups, while highlighting the unpredictable nature of CFL football amid challenging conditions. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6do Brief via email.
Great dragon rapes ancient streets, leading change with modern beats. Cities rise and towers peak, new dawn breaking, bold and sleek. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all in play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the cars, marching strong with mighty force. Whoa. New era, new wave, fast-paced day, history made in full display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west and knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's power demonstrates. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all the play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the course, marching strong with mighty force. New era, new way, fast-paced day, history made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions their growth and peace. New era, new way, fast-paced day, history made in bold display. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold but minds explore, east meets west